Welcome back. Today we are going to discuss July month current affairs based questions. Part 2. In this part 2 we are going to discuss 20 questions. These 20 questions comprises topics such as polity, environment, economy, science and technology, governance and organizations. So we are going to discuss 6 topics of July month current affairs. With questions. So let's take up questions. Come to the first question. Arrange the following places from north to south. These questions I have asked because in July month of 2020, Iran proceeded to construct rail line from Chabahar port to Jahedan. Actually, Chabahar port is project of India. This project is very crucial to counter Chinese string of pearl theory Gwadar port in Pakistan. The string of pearl means encircling India. With Chinese bases like in Sri Lanka, Amban Tota port, Myanmar, Coco Islands of Myanmar, and Maldives Islands, and Pakistan. If you see the map of Indian Ocean, India, Sri Lanka, so China is trying to connect India, encircle India like this. This is Pakistan, and they have started at Djibouti their military base. So they are trying to encircle India. So here Gwadar port is there. To counter this port, India has started Chabahar port. So, but there is a issue with Chabahar port now. What are the issues with the Chabahar port? Delay in completing the project due to the US sanction on Iran. Second one is bureaucratic and diplomatic hurdles. Third one is Chinese influence is increasing in Iran. Though first phase of Chabahar port construction has been completed and India has shifted wheat consignment to Afghanistan. What this Chabahar port does mainly is it will provide India connectivity to the Afghanistan, because Afghanistan is landlocked country, means it don't have access to the sea, and through this Chabahar port, India can connect even to the Central Asia. Okay, so the Chabahar port comprises of rail route construction and road construction. So rail route is from Chabahar to Zahedan. Road route is from Zahedan to Delaram via Zaranj. Because of delays, bureaucratic and diplomatic and growing Chinese issue, India has been excluded from this project by Iran, and it started constructing railway route from Chhabra to Jahedan. So that's why this question has been asked. So you should definitely know the places exactly, because Chhabra port is a very important strategic port or infrastructure construction that India has taken to safeguard its foreign policy. So first here Chabahar, next Dahejan, next Zaranj, next Daleram. These two are in Iran, these two are in Afghanistan. So this how you have to arrange from north to south. So first will come north to south, right? First will be 1, next 2, next 3 and 4. 2, 3, 1, 4. 2, 3, 1, 4. This B is answer. Come to the 22nd question. Which of the following statements are correct? The reason why I have asked this question is because Maharashtra government has declared Tillari Conservation Reserve. Maharashtra government has notified Tillari Conservation Reserve. So you should definitely know clearly about national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, and conservation reserves and community reserves. The difference between these 5 you should know, UPSC may ask. National park and wildlife sanctuary. What is the difference? Here it preserves flora and fauna, historic objects, landscapes, etc. It preserves birds, animals, insects, reptiles, etc. This is first point. Second point, it aims to protect historic and cultural objects as well as wildlife. It aims to protect wildlife and its habitat. That's it. Here, human activities are prohibited completely. Here, it is allowed with some limitations and restrictions. Here, boundaries are fixed. It cannot be changed. Here, boundaries are not fixed. These cannot be downgraded. Once if any wildlife sanctuary is upgraded to national park, it cannot be downgraded to again to wildlife sanctuary. Here it can be upgraded to national park. It can be upgraded. Both central government and state government can declare national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. National park boundaries KE are fixed. So these are the differences between national park and wildlife sanctuary. What about biosphere reserves? Biosphere reserves includes both national park and wildlife sanctuary. Okay. Uh, how many biospheres are there? 18 biospheres are there in India. So 18 national parks are. This is Himachal Pradesh. Here cold desert will be there. Nanda Devi will be there. And Kanchenjunga, Manas, Nokrek, and Dihang Dibang, Dibru Saikova, Sundarban, Simlipal. Here Achanak Mar. Here Pana. Here Panchmarchi, Rana of Kutch, Nilgiris, Agatsya Malay. These are and Andaman Nicobar, Greater Nicobar. So these are the 18 biospheres that you should remember. You should definitely remember this map. That's why I have drew and shown you. Because UPSC may ask arrange from north to south, south to north, east to west, west to east. So like this you have to. Which state doesn't have any biospheres? That is Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, now Jammu and Kashmir. So like that you can, if you know the map, you can answer those type of questions. Again I am repeating, Nilgiris is in Tamil Nadu. You have to know even under Nilgiris biosphere which national parks will come. Wayanad will come, Nagarhole will come, Bandipur will come, Mudumalai will come, Neelambur will come, Silent Valley will come, Siruvani Hills will come. These 7 national parks and sanctuaries will come under Nilgiris. Like that Nanda Devi. Okay, Nanda Devi is in Uttarakhand. You should know it. And Nokrek, it is in Meghalaya, Gora Hills. So Meghalaya plateau means if you divide, this is Garo Hills, this is Kasi, this is Jintia Hills. So it is here. So Greater Nicobar, you know, Gulf of Mannar. Okay, Gulf of Mannar means this is the Gulf of Mannar. If it is between Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka, Gulf of Mannar, and Sundarbans in West Bengal, Simlipal in Odisha, Mayurbhanj district, Dibru Saikova in Assam. It is also in news. Dibru Saikova for what? For Indian Oil Limited gas leak, which has affected the Dibru Saikova. So definitely you should know it. Dihang Dibang in Arunachal Pradesh, Kanchenjunga, Sikkim, Agatsya Malay, Kerala, Achanak Mar, Amartanka, it is in MP, Chhattisgarh also, border of Chhattisgarh, and Kutch, Gujarat, Cold Desert, Himachal Pradesh, Seshachalam Hills, very famous, already UPSC has asked, in Andhra Pradesh. Pana in Madhya Pradesh. Which highway passes through Pana? NH44. So you should remember all these things. So now let's see the we have to even know about the conservative reserves and community reserves difference. In conservative reserves, these reserves will be state government owned. So state government will declare these reserves, and state government will consult with the local government and declare these reserves. Here it's a community reserves. Here also state government will declare, but these community will be owned by either individual or a community. So government will consult this community group or an individual before declaring. There won't be any land pattern changes in this land use pattern changes in these community reserves. So these are the difference between these two. So let's see the options now. A national park has more restrictions as compared to the wildlife sanctuary. Correct, because human activity is not allowed in national park and wildlife sanctuary allowed with restrictions. So this is correct. One is correct. So you can eliminate this. Neither grazing or livestock or human activity is allowed in. Correct. 2 is correct. So national park is not being in national park cannot be downgraded to the status of sanctuary. It is also correct. National parks can be declared both by. This is also correct. Answer is D, because I have clearly mentioned the differences of the national park and wildlife sanctuary. You should definitely remember those 5 points, because this is not only important for the prelims, for in the main context also this is important. So come to the 23rd. Consider the following passage. These question I have framed because 80% of this park, whatever the park mentioned in this passage, was under water or inundated due to floods. Okay, in July 2020. That's why I have asked. 80% is a huge number. So let's take up the question. It was declared as national park and tiger reserves. It is also declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site as an important bird area. It is home for the highest number of rhinos. So if you know these things, doesn't matter. If you know if you don't know the second statement also doesn't matter. If you know this third statement, then you can easily answer this, because it is Kaziranga National Park. Only in Kaziranga National Park 90% of India's rhinos resides. So and NH, this is NH 37. NH 37 passes through the park. So answer is Kaziranga National Park. I have told you why I have asked this question, because 80% of the Kaziranga National Park was inundated with floods. But the question is, but here you should know one thing. Why every year Assam faces floods? That too, 40% of the Assam's total land is prone to floods. Why? This is the biggest question. You should know that Brahmaputra is the second largest sediments carrying river in the world itself, in the world. So if this is a valley, Brahmaputra will come in Assam and deposits all the sediments. What happens? This valley will be filled with the these sediments. So automatically the water will come out of this valley. So floods will happen. And due to the heavy rainfall during the southwest monsoon also triggers, because this valley is not broader valley, it is not broader, this is narrow valley. So here more amount of water comes, it will come out, it will be flushed out because the valley is very narrow. So heavy rainfalls are also reason. And Brahmaputra has more than 50 tributaries, so huge amount of water flows into this valley, narrow valley. Again it leads to the floods. This is the third reason. What about the fourth reason? Is man-made construction of dams and encroachment of valley area and weak embankments are the reason for the floods. And deforestation, because you are removing lot of trees, so the water runoff will be very high. Okay, if it is slope, in slope areas or in plain areas, anywhere if trees are there, when water falls, tree will abstract the droplets and roots will absorb the water, so the water quantity of water flow will reduce. If you remove every tree here, so there is nothing to abstract, so the water flow quantity will be high and the speed will be high. So like this, deforestation is affecting Assam. 80% of embankments in Assam has not been reinforced, means constructed or repaired, because of contract and administration access. Because if embankment is not working, floods will happen, so embankment will get damaged, again contractor will get work to construct, again these guy will construct weak embankments, so he will gain monetary benefits, and the bureaucrats also will get money through corruption. These are the reasons why Assam, 40% of Assam's total land is facing flood risk. Definitely you should know, because this is important for mains. Reasons for floods in Assam and Bihar, like this you should know. So here the answer is Kaziranga National Park. So come to the 24th question. Which of the following are the features of e-waste management rules 2016? Here you should know the silent futures. One, for the first time, producers were brought under the extended producer responsibility, and next, producers responsibility organization can be created by the producers. Next, deposit refund scheme is launched. Next, state governments were made to introduce policies or rules to ensure safety, health and skill development of various workers, and penalty for the violations are introduced. and local bodies have been assigned the duty to collect and channelize orphan products to authorize dismantlers. Orphan products means what? These products will be found on the road. Nobody knows who threw these products and who produced these products. So these products will be collected by the municipality and they will give this to the dismantlers. So these are the silent futures that you should know. What about this deposit refund scheme? Deposit refund scheme means if you are buying a product from the producer, if this product cost is 100 rupees, producer will ask you to pay 110 rupees. These 10 rupees comes under deposit refund scheme. After you using this product, if you give back this to the producer will give back this 10 rupees to you again. This is about the deposit refund scheme. That's it. These are the futures that you should know. One more prelims based question is India's first e-waste clinic established at where? Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. These things you should know. E-waste means you know, right? Electronic waste. Don't think it is environment waste again. In 2017 and 18, this is useful for mains. India's recycling rate was 10%. Only 10%. In 2018 and 19, this rate has increased to 20%. This is a huge increase, you should remember. If UPSC asks achievements, you can write this as one of the achievements. So now, which of the futures of the e-waste management is? E-waste classification correct, extended procedure responsibility correct, collection target correct, restrictions on import of e-waste containing correct. So answer is D. So come to the 25th. Consider the following statements. Enriched uranium is a type of uranium in which the present composition of uranium 239 is increased. Trinitrotoluene occurs naturally in environment. It is used as explosive. Both are wrong. Why both are wrong? Because enriched uranium is what? Uranium, the most used uranium is 2. Uranium 235, uranium 239. Okay, these will be enriched. What is enriched means? The percentage concentration of uranium 235 will be increased. This is enrichment, known as enrichment. This enrichment is usually used for nuclear energy production or nuclear weapon production. Okay, same way this is also used for nuclear energy production or nuclear weapon. This is used in nuclear weapon making. Okay, so this is not naturally occurred. This is made from nitrates, which is fertilizer, and it is most explosive. It is used as explosives. This is correct, but this is wrong. So answer is D. Why I have asked this question? Because recently fire broke out in Iran underground nuclear facility, which is used for enriching uranium. Enriching uranium means you uranium 235. Because we are talking about uranium, you should know about one organization, that is International Atomic Energy Agency. This is an independent organization. Don't think it is a UN organization. It is not UN organization. It is independent organization, but it submits its report to the UN. Its headquarters is in Vienna, where it is in Austria. Its objective is to ensure that use of uranium is for the peaceful purpose, that is for medical or nuclear energy, like this. So this is what you should know about the International Atomic Energy Agency, and it will do inspections also to check whether the countries are using uranium peacefully or not, for peaceful purpose or not. So recently Iran denied permission to the IAEA to inspect its nuclear facility. So come to the 26th question. India's foreign exchange reserves include gold, foreign currency assets, special drawing rights, reserve strengths. Yes, these four are correct. Only these four are included in the India's foreign exchange reserves. Why it is in news? Because India's foreign exchange reserves has crossed of $500 billion. Reasons for this increase in India's foreign exchange reserve is, one of the biggest reason is FII. What is this FII? Foreign institutional investments. See, these foreign institutional investments invests in equity. And another reason is lowering of import bill. How? Because the crude oil price was reduced internationally, was falling at that time. So India's foreign exchange reserves has increased. Is it good to India's economy? You can say no, because these foreign exchange reserves were increased due to the FII, huge FII inflow, not by the FDI inflow. FDI will stay in India for longer period of time, but this is for shorter period of time, because they invest in the equity. They can disinvest very soon also. They can sell off, because this is based on the speculation. So this will make the country volatile, country's economy volatile. So the country should not depend upon the FII inflows. Country should always strive for the FDI inflows. Moreover, India's foreign exchange reserves does not solve India's poor infrastructure. India to become a strong economic country, it should develop its infrastructure first. So this is about the 26th question. Come to the 27th question. Consider the following statement regarding compulsory licensing. Compulsory licensing means what? You have invented one drug. Example, you will go and register patent. So now you are the owner of the drug, and you will come and sell this drug in India. After 3 years, government can allow any other company to manufacture your drug without your permission. You should understand, without your consent or your permission. This is known as compulsory licensing. You may ask, this will violate WTO norms. No, it will not violate, because in WTO there is TRIPS. In TRIPS agreement, they recognize compulsory licensing. So this is about the compulsory licensing. You should definitely read about this because of COVID, vaccines, patent, and even some political parties demanded that the government should opt for compulsory licensing, demand for compulsory licensing of remdesivir. This is very important because vaccines or drugs or any other things which are important for the public, companies may not be selling at low price. So at that time government may not have any other choice than opting for the compulsory licensing and allowing other companies to manufacture those drugs or vaccines without the permission of the patent company. These will come under the intellectual property rights. What is the intellectual property rights? It is a right, intellectual property right. It is a right given if you invented one process or model or drug or any other thing, etc., you will be given patent. So, to say that you are the owner of this, you have invented this. Okay, this is known as intellectual, because with your intellectual you have developed this. So this is your property right. So it is known as intellectual property right. Okay, in this intellectual property right, there are broadly two things. One, copyrights rights, another is industrial property. In industrial property there are many things like trademark, GI status, already I have mentioned about this. Another one is industrial design, trade secrets. Okay, these two things comes under intellectual property right. Coming to India's stand, India has committed to the TRIPS. What is this TRIPS? TRIPS is trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, properties. This is a TRIPS. This is WTO agreement. Okay, because India committed to these TRIPS, India has established National Intellectual Property Right Policy. Under this policy, India has established institutional mechanism for implementation of this. These institutional mechanism will fall under DIPP. Under DIPP, Cell for Intellectual Property Right Promotion and Management body will take care of institutional mechanisms. So India committed and established all these things. Is everything okay with Indian intellectual property right? No, because for that you have to read about section 3 subclause D of Indian Patent Act 1970. This is a controversy. Section 3 subclause D of Indian Patent Act. You should read this because India will not allow evergreening of patent rights. So many industries are raising their voice against this. You should read about this, and you should also read about the issue of compulsory licensing. Compulsory licensing, what is the issue involved in this? You should read this, and you should also read about the data exclusivity. Okay, because for mains it is very important to write. This is the first point, this is the second point, this is the third point. Definitely you should search on Google and read it. It will help you a lot, because I can't explain everything here, it will take a lot of time. So for this, the compulsory licensing allows the government to license third party to any other any other company to produce, market a patented product or process with the consent of the it's without. So eliminate 1. Answer is B. So here these fact you should remember. Doha Declaration on TRIPS, trade related intellectual property and public health, confirms that countries are free to determine the ground for granting compulsory license. Means what? It's saying that countries, means India or Pakistan or Nepal, Bhutan, any country, they can find their own grounds, means reasons. They can find their own reasons for granting compulsory licensing. Means what? There is no established reasons to opt for compulsory licensing. So countries has given a free hand to opt for the compulsory licensing. So this is also correct. This is the fact that you should remember. Come to the 28th one. Consider the following statement. President shall have the special responsibility for law and order in Nagaland state. No, it is wrong, because it is not president, it is governor, right? Under article 371A. Okay. The special responsibility of the governor shall cease when the president so directs. So answer is D. Neither 1 nor 2. What is this article 371A? Says that Act of Parliament will not apply to the Nagaland unless the state legislative assembly decides. Okay, on which it will not apply. There are 4 things that you should definitely remember, that is religious or social practices of Naga customary laws and procedures, and administration of civil and criminal justice. It should be carried on according to the customary procedure, and ownership and transfer of land and its resources. Okay, on these four things, the parliamentary law will not apply until unless the state legislative assembly decides. So you should remember this. You should also remember that parliamentary law will not apply until unless the state legislative assembly decides, not president or not governor. So Nagaland is in news, that's why I have asked this question. So come to the 29th question. Which of the following is correct regarding G4? What is G4? It is the first institution which successfully completed vaccine development process of COVID-19. Wrong. In Russia, because Russia is the first country to bring out vaccines for COVID-19, but it doesn't mean that G4 it belongs to the Russia. You should know, because this is one word type. Word type questions. Already I have explained word type questions. Example, the UPSC have asked in 2017 about the hackathon word by using just one word. In 2016 it has all asked about the Goldilocks word. In 2018 in dark. Like this, 2019 and 2020 they have asked. So you should always know about the, if anything in news, these one words you should remember. So G4, this is wrong. It is one of the recently found Goldilocks zone. Wrong. It is a new strain of swine flu. This is correct. Okay, this is a new strain of swine flu. The another name of G4 is G4EAH1N1. Okay, this is a very severe strain of swine flu which may also cause a pandemic. So this is what you have to remember. So answer is C here. Because this is in news, again yesterday also I discussed, again now I am discussing integrated disease surveillance project. You should remember this. It is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. You should know the functions of this. What are the functions? It do surveillance regarding the any breakouts. For doing surveillance, it has decentralized its laboratories and centers to district and statewide and national body will be there. District will submit report to the state, state will submit to the center. Like that it functions. It is established in 2004 with the assistance of World Bank. So for this the answer is C. Now come to the why I have asked this question, because World Bank has extended loan for MSME under the program Emergency Response Program. So why they have extended for MSME under Emergency Response Program means emergency means means this should be very important for India. Why it is significant for India? Because this is in employment it employs around 120 million people, 124 million people. Means what? It is the second largest after agriculture in India, which generates employment. So it is very important in context of employment. And the GDP contribution, how much it contributes to the GDP? Around 40%. And exports, around 45% it contributes. And it contributes for the financial inclusion. And it contributes for the regional balance development. It promotes innovation. It brings inclusive growth. Inclusive growth means what? Everybody involves in the growth. Nobody is excluded. So this is significant for the India. That's why due to the COVID-19, the MSME has been affected a lot To revive this MSME, government has approached World Bank. World Bank has given $790 million. This is about. And what is MSME? There is a definition that government has given. Okay, you should definitely know. Under MSME there is manufacturing sector and service sector. Okay, so micro, see, M means micro, small, medium enterprise. So micro means annual turnover should be less than 5 crores. This is correct. Investment should be less than 1 crore. It is correct. So small, the annual turnover should be less than 50 crore. Correct. And investment less than 10 crore. Correct. Medium, annual turnover should be less than 100 crores. Wrong. Investment less than 100 crores. Wrong. This is 250 crores less than. This is 50 crores less than. So answer 1 and 2. This is a definition you should definitely remember. You should make the box and remember like this. So what are the challenges that MSME is facing? Because this is very important, right, for India. Why important we have discussed. But what are the challenges? Challenges is limited capital and knowledge, technology backwardness, inadequate infrastructure, low production capacity, ineffective market strategies, non-availability of skilled laborers, high competition from the cheap imports. These are the challenges of the MSME. You should definitely remember to write in mains. The significance I have said and challenges I have said and the definition I have said. This can be introduction, this can be the body and conclusion. You can write the steps that government has taken to revive. What are the steps that government has taken? What is that scheme? 1 crore within 59 minutes will be sanctioned to the MSME. Next one is interest subvention of 2% to all the GST registered MSME. So all central PSUs are compulsory procurement through GEM portal. You should read about this on internet. It will help. Like that, there are many other schemes that government has came up to help MSME to grow. So come to the 31st question. Which of the following is are correctly matched? PPP model and project cost burn by. See, these things already I have explained in last video. Okay, this is to check you whether you remembered whatever I explained in the last video or not. BOT, private player only, correct. This one only government, so this is wrong. So you remove 2, answer is A. Hybrid annuity model, it is private plus government. But why I have asked this question? Because National Highway Authority of India has decided recently to take assessment and ranking of highways. Okay, that's why I have asked these things. These are famous for the road infrastructure famous road infrastructure models. But what about National Highway Authority of India? It is a statutory body. It is established under National Highway Authority of India Act 1988. It comes under the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. That's it. This is what you have to know. Assessment, right? It is doing assessment. So the weightage for the assessment is for highway. It has constructed one highway. Private player or someone has constructed highway. So how it will give? So what is the highway efficiency? Is one parameter. The second parameter is highway safety or not. It is. Next one is users services. What are the user services? So efficiency, safety and user services. That's it. These three are the parameters you should remember. That's it. So come to the 32nd question. Consider the following statement regarding overhead traction system. What is this traction system? Traction system is technical word, definitely you should know. Okay, it is a propulsion of a vehicle in which the driving force is obtained from diesel engine drives or steam engine drives or electric motors, etc. But what this overhead traction system is doing now, this propulsion of vehicle driving force comes from the solar energy. Means the railways is using this system now. So it is the first of its kind project in the world. So when it becomes first in the world, and it will become important for the UPSC. These technical word you should know about. What is traction system? Authorized by the Indian Railways in the collaboration with the BHEL. BHEL is in central government company, that is public sector enterprise. Okay. The project was undertaken by BEL under its corporate social responsibility. So here you have came to know another one thing, that corporate social responsibility is not just for the private companies but also for the public sector enterprise under the section 135 of Company Act. It is mandatory. So this is correct, and it involves operation of innovative technology for converting direct current to alternating current. Means whatever the system, from the system, means the solar system, it produces the electricity of DC current. It produces DC current and it is converted to the AC current. You should always remember, because it is a favorite topic of UPSC. It always asks, this overhead traction system will produce alternating current directly. If it gives like this, you should say it is wrong, because like this many times UPSC has asked fuel cell. Okay, fuel cell produces alternating current directly. No, it is wrong. So it has asked this option in 2017 or 16, I don't remember. Definitely it has asked. So like this UPSC may ask this time about this overhead traction system. So please make note of overhead traction system. It is very important. In railways there is one company known as Railway Energy Management Company Limited. Okay, this energy is established under Companies Act as a joint venture company of Ministry of Railways. Okay, Ministry of Railway vision is by 2030 should turn in Indian Railways as zero net emitter. So this will help you for writing the mains answer. Come to the 33rd question. Which of the following falls under zoonotic disease? What is zoonotic disease? Classic example is coronavirus. Means what? Anything which comes from animal, transfer from animal to human, is a zoonotic disease. Why I have asked this question? Because according to the recent report released by the United Nations University, 60 to 75% of presently infected diseases are from the zoonotic diseases. So you should know what are the zoonotic diseases, right? Malaria, HIV, AIDS, corona. Which is the answer? Corona alone is wrong. Answer is D. because you should not get confused that this HIV is a sexual disease. So you should not get confused. It is wrong. At first, AIDS has been transmitted from monkeys. So answer is D. Come to the 34th question. Consider the following statements. These questions why I have asked, because Andhra Pradesh government has tried to change the term of the present that time state election commissioner, when he was election commissioner, he was holding the post of election commissioner, and it has restricted the election commissioner post to only high court judges. Previously, even the retired bureaucrats can apply for the chief state election commissioner, but this law was quashed by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. So now you should know about this state election commissioner. He is appointed by the governor. Correct or wrong? It is correct. According to the constitution, the tenure and appointment will be directed as per the law made by the state legislature. Is it correct or not? It is correct. State will be removed by the governor. No, he will be removed according in the same way as high court. So high court judge. So he will be removed by the president at last. So answer is 1 and 2. So come to the 35th question. Which of the following statement is correct regarding a Mongolian Kanjur? Mongolian Kanjur means what? It is a Buddhist canonical text. It is endangered Mongolian camel. It is a virus causing organ failure that broke out recently. It is only Mongolian island occupied by China. Answer is A. This Mongolian Kanjur is a project under National Mission of Manuscripts under the Ministry of Culture. This is word type question, so you should definitely remember about this. UPSC may ask. Come to the 36th question. Consider the following statement regarding the Sambiman Anchal. It is a passenger bus service was started for the first time after India's independence in Sambimal Anchal region in Odisha Malkajgiri district. Is it correct or not? It is the first time. When India got independence in 1947, these current affairs is 2020. So is it a first time? Yes, it is a first time. Why? Because the Sambi Mall is a stronghold of Naxals. Okay, and the Sambi Mall is a region where the 3 sides is covered by water, and the 4th one is tough and rough terrain. So it is became very difficult for the government to lay road and provide bus services because of Naxalism, because of the physical geography presence there. So what are the options? This is correct and covered by 3 sides, and this is also correct. So answer is C. Come to the 37th. See, this is also word type question. You should definitely remember this. Which of the following statement is correct regarding Coccolithoporus? See, Coccolithoporus is what? It is a single cell algae. Okay. It classifies the marine phytoplanktons. Means what? It takes CO2 from the marine, uses from the marine and from the atmosphere for its photosynthesis, which is very beneficial for the marine ecosystem. This is a good algae which is beneficial and required algae for the marine ecosystem. But what about diatoms? Diatoms are again single celled algae. Okay, they increases silicate concentration. Because of this, there will be decrease in CaCO3. With the decrease in CaCO3, there will be decrease in coccolithophorus. Why they will be decrease in coccolithophorus? Because coccolithophorus, if it is the external shell skeleton, to build its external skeleton, it uses CaCO3 plates, which is present in the marine ecosystem. So if CaCO3 is decreasing, it cannot protect its external it cannot protect itself by building its external skeleton, so it will also die. So if it dies, what happens? The CO2 level in marine and atmosphere will keep increasing. There will be no one to use this CO2 and safeguard the earth ecosystem. So this is the answer is, they are single cell algae used for degradation of plastic. Wrong. They are single cell algae which classify marine. Yes, this is correct. This is diatoms. So answer is B. Come to the 38th question. Consider the following statement regarding seabed project. It is collaborative project between Nippon Foundation of Japan and Ministry of Earth Science. This is wrong. The project aims to obtain a high quality of information, has a minimum resolution of 200 meters at all spots. This is wrong. It is 100 meters. See, remember, even in 2020 prelims, UPSC has asked like this only about the marine thing in fact base. I guess it has said 100 meters for 80 meters. I don't remember the question, but something they have asked about the facts. So that I also framed the fact based question which is in current affairs. The Nippon Foundation of Japan is correct, but this is wrong. It is General Bathymetric Chart of the Ocean organization. It is actually intergovernmental organization, and it is the only organization which was established to mandate to map the entire ocean floor. It is the only organization. Okay, you should remember, international organization. So this is what you should know about these two. Come to the 39th. Consider the following: Constitutional Amendment Act and result. 102 Constitutional Amendment Act, constitutional status to the NCBC. What is NCBC? National Commission for Backward Class. Correct. 103 Constitutional Amendment Act, reservation to the EWS, weaker section, economic and weaker section. Correct. 101 Constitutional Amendment Act, Goods and Service Act, GST. Correct. These are the very famous acts you should know definitely as a UPSC aspirant, and this is very much in news because of sub-categorization of OBCs is in news. So which of the, come to the 48th question, which so they have given the constitutional status, right? So it will fall under which article? Article 338B. So which of the following is correct regarding the Permanent Court of Arbitration? It is established by the Convention of Pacific Settlement of International Dispute, and its headquarters is situated in Hague of Netherlands, correct? And India is member, correct? How you can say India is member? Because at present, what is in news? The two Italian marine case is came to the final hearing, awaited for the final judgment. So it is very much in news, these Permanent Court of Arbitration. So definitely you should know about all these facts. Here I want to give you some extra information regarding backward class. Kelkar Commission in 1953 is the first commission to identify backward classes. Okay, after that Mandal Commission report, everybody know this, 19